talk about a few other aspects of karma. There is collective karma and individual karma. Okay, so individual karma is the karma that we create ourselves, and collective karma is karma that we create but together with a group. Okay, so for example, all of us came to the Abbey for a particular purpose, and we, for practicing the Dharma, and so we create karma together in the sense of practicing the Dharma together, and so that kind of enhances all of our individual karma. Yeah. So if you're in the military, then you have the karma there, the collective karma of people gathered together for a certain purpose. If you're at a football game, you create some kind of collective karma with the people gathered there for a purpose. So it really, understanding this asks us to be mindful and discriminating in terms of which groups we decide to join. Because when we are part of a group and we agree with the purpose of the group, then we accumulate the deeds that anybody in the group does for that purpose. Maybe not exactly the same karma, but something similar because we have gathered together for that particular purpose. Okay. If you're living in a state like, we live in Washington State, but we don't agree with all the purpose, all the things that the government does in it here, then we don't accumulate the karma because we disagree with a particular purpose. Okay? So for example, we happen to live here. This is a state where the death penalty is in force. When they execute someone, in our hearts we're saying we don't want this. We don't want this to happen as citizens of the state. But we have no control, so we don't accumulate that karma. Whereas, if you're part of the group and you're saying, yeah, go get him, then there's some karma accumulated there. So you can see that sometimes what are the groups that we find ourselves in, yeah, and for what purpose, and it kind of gives us some sense of who we might have been hanging around with in a previous life or what we might have been interested with in a previous life. And so for that reason, it's important whenever we are in a group to have a very clear mind ourselves of what groups we're associating with, whether we agree with their purposes, and so on and so forth. Okay? But even within a group of people, let's say, who experience a result in common, let's say the people who lived in New Orleans when Hurricane Katrina struck. So they're experiencing a result of a collective karma at that point. But within that, experiencing that common result of being in a hurricane, then different people experience different results, and that's according to whatever individual karma they accumulated in the past. Okay? So some people were rescued, some people had an easy time, some people had a difficult time, so that's according to the individual karma of the past. But the fact of experiencing the result of the hurricane together means that they had done some kind of action together in the past. Okay? This is another interesting one to think about when you read the news. Yeah? And how it is that people experience certain results of certain things together and happen to be in that place at that time when that action, when that event occurs, and all these kinds of things. Very interesting to think